It's a big day. It is CPI day, baby, and Bitcoin after being in the same range for nearly 3 weeks. Nearly 3 damn weeks. Might even have the catalyst to be leaving this range, of which that is big focus of today. Dixie, Bitcoin, bit of setups going on here as well. And other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a lovely Wednesday. Yeah, happy Wednesday in your life. It's a good old hump day. We're about to get humped. And as I get onto this pane over here, that is not important as of right now, although you probably should know the new offering with the quant program and the skeleton key / automation features are now live. But we got more important things, more pressing concerns to be getting into right now. So I'll start this one off with Dixie, the dollar index, and we were looking at this one to come back down to the overall range lows somewhere around the low 101 region, of which we do have a low thus far of this week of 101.32, or sorry, 34 in this case. So still looking at it in this particular vein right here. Hopefully you can't hear the incessant drilling that's going on above my head. Don't know what the hell they're doing right now. You bastard! Can't you see? We're talking about magic internet money, and it's much more important than your goddamn drilling. Anyways, yes, so this is just a continuation of the prior analysis, but I do want to follow up on it. Hidden bearish divergence on the weekly, plus the weekly jewel also getting that downside signature, supported by DMI in the same direction, I should denote as well. And then also what is particularly interesting about this current setup is that weekly volatility is at basically the lowest, some of the lowest levels that it can really get down towards. Currently at about 1.2, 1.3 percentile. So these are extreme lows, which typically happen before extreme moves. And to put that into context, I will actually just mark off all of the last 8 years or so where we've seen, particularly low volatility levels, which you can see does typically precede these pretty major moves, both to the upside and the downside, as obviously volatility is direction neutral. What can help to get a bias on the direction of that volatility is, well, in many cases, we do see RSI divergence kind of on the same direction, as well as jewel pointing in that same direction as well. So in this case, that would still favor the downside. I would, however, remain a little bit on guard that it doesn't necessarily break down like today. The reason why I say not necessarily today is because, we do see that this is starting to wedge itself into a descending triangle. Also with a silver cross to the downside, and you can see a clear rejection as we outlined a few weeks ago and continued on as of the past couple weeks. But these sort of formations, typically do fill out a little bit more before breaking. That's why I do have my LARP lines here as, probably putting in a bounce maybe one more time off the lower boundary of this region. But again, with CPI prints coming out later today, it could be that, it could be that that would be the catalyst for this one to break down. So, that's why I would reserve a little bit of reservation. But of course, a descending triangle does have a higher probability to break out to the downside rather than the upside. And there would be an implied target on this one somewhere down around about 97 and a quarter to 97 and a half, kind of in alignment with the white 200 symbol moving average on the weekly, and also the monthly 55, around these regions. So I do still like those areas, for the next move to the downside when the break does occur, or assuming that it does occur. And then obviously needs to have an invalidation consideration as well. Like, what if this were to happen, what essentially would make me look for this one to have actually a pretty damn big move to the upside, just trading back above that last local high from late May here, which was 101 and a half or so, 101.40 would do it for me. That would kind of destroy the current bearish narrative for this one. But until then, bounces are likely to be just that, bounces before further continuation to the downside. Anyways, let's move on now. Let's get into some Bitcoin action. I think we just briefly go over here. Pretty damn simple on Bitcoin for the daily. I won't go into like full detail on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin on the daily, bounced off that yellow 21, not bad. More importantly, we do see daily RSI getting back into the bullish control zone, possibly by end of day today if it does close above. Let me just see. Where is it? 30,500 will do it, according to Caretaker's RSI, reverse conditions right there. And then also the daily jewel will might even have a chance to turn back up again today as well. And if that one does start to get that light blue cyan color coming into tomorrow, that'd be another good sign. Again, supported by DMI, and this is all coming within the context of extreme lows on volatility. You don't need me to tell you that. I mean, Bitcoin's been, again, going sideways for nearly 3 weeks, or maybe more than 3 weeks. Actually, certainly more than 3 weeks now. So yeah, don't need an indicator to tell you that, although it certainly does help. Anyways, we can now get into the HPDR ranges. Guess what? Nothing's fucking changed. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Still top side of the range, coming in about 31,150 on a 4-hour time frame versus bottom side of the range coming in about 29,500. Average of the range coming in about 30,350 or so. And don't really have too much to update right there. Obviously, a break and close above 31,150 would be a damn good early indication that we will see that next move to the upside, perhaps around that CPI time. Next area of interest to the upside is going to be about 32.5 to 33 even. To the downside, again with a break and closure below 29,550. At that point, I'd be looking for another $1,000 move to the downside. Actually, 28,500 would be the next area of interest before a likely bounce, and then I want to kind of revisit it after that. But I do want to speak over here. Should we go through stochastic momentum? We can go through stochastic momentum. Why not? Although I really don't trust indicators that much on on an economic event day like today. Hourly up above 30,675. 4-hour time frame is going to be showing what it's going to be showing. Upside momentum above 30,500 on a closing basis. 6-hour time frame is going to be showing upside momentum above 30,450. So we see a few numbers coming in from the same region. 12-hour time frame is also pointed to the upside freshly above 30,250 or so. Is this one where I started to draw regressions? No, that was the daily, and the daily having this trendline regression coming in from the last few major daily lows. That would be the March lows, that would be the April lows, that would be the May lows, that would be the June lows, and maybe even, well, actually it's not going to connect with this one. The 12-hour will, however, as you can see. But going back to the daily momentum will actually switch back onto the upside, assuming that Bitcoin closed today above 30,250. So we see a lot of things kind of coming around mid and low $30,000. So basically, as long as Bitcoin's kind of above the average of the range on the 4-hour HPDR, stochastic momentum will favor the upside. But like I said, on a day like today, it's really about range resolutions coming off the back of those releases. Looking at a bit of a Bitcoin setup over here, I do want to just briefly go over this one. This is a good example of something that you could do with that new skeleton key API backtester on TradingView, and assuming that you set it up properly. But looking at the 12-hour right here, I've set conditions for just to test what if we set up long conditions for whenever the 12-hour jewel would turn white on the first tick when it was below 40, which actually did happen right here, which I believe was yesterday. Sorry, that was Sunday. These are 12-hour dildos. So this was Sunday right here at 30,150 or so. Alongside PMARP being below 50 percentile. And over the past, I wonder how far back this goes. Yeah, over the past, wow. Okay, so over the past 4 years, there has been 35 prior iterations. Now, I am omitting some days for this data, but that's true for the whole data set, obviously, so it's consistent. I think it's not trading on, let me actually just see, what day is it not taking these from? Monday and Wednesday. Anyways, yes, so in this case, this one's still valid right here. Out of those 35 trades, 63% of those did play out with a pretty nice upside move. We can see the equity curve right here, not bad, although it has been mostly flat over the last couple of years, but maybe it's just putting these higher lows. These things do typically trade like charts themselves, so that is a generally good sign. If I go over here into the average winning trade, pretty fucking large actually, almost 16%, 15 to 16%. Average losing trade 13%. So we're talking about big damn numbers right now. Average amount of bars, so the average amount of time taken in winning trades was 40 bars. So 40 bars on a 12-hour time frame is 20 days. On the losing side, it's actually 62 bars, so that would be 31 days. So obviously, the longer that this goes on without playing out to the upside, the more and more likely it is to be a loser. In this case, I don't think it would take all that long, because the losing condition for this particular one would be with a 12-hour closure below 29,400. In fact, I'd say a 4-hour closure below 29,550 probably does it. But yeah, that would obviously not be anywhere near a 13% move. That'd be a 2.5% move. So this one actually has a rather interesting setup here, because if it does play out towards the average win, I mean, that would be that would be a really nice move actually for the Bitcoin BULAs, somewhere closer to $35,000. Again, that is the average. There's going to be variance within there, and we're not going off of like a whole hell of a lot of data, just 35 trades over the past 4 years? I think it was 4 years. Again, personally speaking, my areas of interest to the upside in the more near term, if Bitcoin does resolve to the upside, is still 32.5 to 33, probably a short-term stop there, and then likely continuation. But I want to come back to it and analysize it after that. I do briefly want to see what traditional markets look like, because this video is a bit more on the shorter side. Nasdaq putting in what seems to be another higher low right here, hidden bullish divergence potentially coming off that higher low, and the daily RSI is going to have a chance to get back into the bullish control zone. The weekly, what's kind of crazy about this chart is that there's going to be some pretty nasty hidden bearish divergence at some point. This would actually be a really good place for a pullback. So I suppose we'll have resolution on this later today. Or likely later today. These things can't, trade sideways here for forever, or at least unlikely to do that. Then again, $30,000 for one Bitcoin. That seems pretty good to me. Like, it's not bad. we can stop trading now. All good, man. All good. Just let it be. Anyways, I think that's where I'll leave it off for today. As always, I want to be wishing you the best of best. Take care. Much love, and see you hopefully Thursday.